All right, guys, reacting to Jordan Kilgannon's dunks, mostly breaking down his jump mechanics. Skipped forward a little bit in the video. Oh my gosh. Ooh, so that's a good angle. Let's go back. All right, so frame by frame here. Getting into the penultimate step, you see that good on the right side, that shin dropping down, getting that horizontal shin. He has a pretty long penultimate step, so he has a pretty decent push. You don't always have to, like, longer is not always better. That's kind of a myth in the jump world, is that, like, the longer you get, the better it is. Some people are going to have a really long penultimate step. Some people are going to be more shorter. Some people are going to have to push through, especially from shorter approach speeds. Some people are going to be able to relax because you got momentum carrying you in. If you got a big distance for a run-up, or you got a fast run-up, sometimes that penultimate step is not a push. I'm actually relaxing through it, and you're still going to get distance. But he has a pretty long penultimate. High arm swing. He got the ball in one hand, so he could swing that other arm. Oh, look at the block step. So his right leg, look how steep that is. That is beautiful. So we talk about the 45-degree angle. So if you look at, like, if you draw the angle between the floor and the shin, the best jumpers are normally around that 45-degree angle. And that just shows, because if this is the floor and this is his shin, we know that we're producing force at that angle. So if that shin was like this, we're producing force vertically. But he has so much momentum coming horizontally, we got to decelerate that momentum. And so that steep block leg allows him to decelerate the momentum and then transition it vertically. So you see how steep that is. The average person is not going to be, this steep, and if they tried, they'd probably get hurt. But this comes from years or even decades worth of jump practice. In the Vert Code Elite, we do like some band assisted drills to help assist this, but just know that that's something that's just like, it's a little assistance drill. Like, it's the vegetables on the side. It's not the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes is dedicating your life to jumping and then doing it frequently, like someone like Jordan Kilgannon does. So, geez, that's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. It's gorgeous. Bounce. He gets so much time in the air. Bounce. All right, let's see if we get any other good angles here. Dunks that he makes look simple, and like Chris Staples always comes over here and trains and dunks, and like the dunks that these guys make look regular. It's just insane. Like, when I was growing up, I would watch Kobe Bryant through the legs in a dunk contest, and I'd like freak out. I'd lose my mind. J.R. Ryder, I think he was the first ever in a dunk contest. Between the legs, throw it down, and like, the world is over. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And now these guys, that's like their warm-up dunks. It's just ridiculous. It's the evolution of athleticism. I want to check his block leg on that. That's a good little camera angle. So look at the angle that he's stepping in with that block foot, nice and steep. His weight is back, right? And so some people look at that and be like, well, that's a bad position for the knee. One, you got to look at the direction of force being applied. So people see the knee going inward and they're like, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, especially because, valgus is about the femur to the tibia and what's going on there. And his femur and tibia are aligned, but also the direction of force being applied. So if the force is being applied this way and the leg is right in line with that, that's not a bad position. If his leg was like this and all the force was being applied completely vertically, then we might end up having some valgus knee moments. We might end up having some problems. But because the direction is being applied this way, the line of force actually shoots right through his leg, right through the middle of his knee. It's a great position for a jumper. Maybe not a great position for grandma, but for Jordan, this is a great position. And he's doing a good job of keeping his weight back. So when that foot initially touches down, he doesn't have all of his weight forward on that leg. He still has his weight. He has his weight back on that plant leg, so on his left leg right now. In general, that's going to be your power leg. You're going to get more range of motion. Like, he's pretty close to a 90-degree angle there with that left leg, the plant leg. So he's getting a lot of juice out of that leg. And then the right leg, it's going to be much less range of motion, much shorter ground contact time, and it's much more rigid. So there's less range of motion, so he's just going to pop off the floor and pop himself up. That's what's interesting about two-leg jumping. The two legs act entirely differently. That's why you don't see a lot of carryover from standing jumps and even like one-step jumps. Standing jumps, one-step jumps, the two legs do the same thing, right? Go watch a standing jump. Even if you're asymmetrical, your two legs are pretty much doing the same thing. In an approach jump, the two legs are doing entirely different things, entirely different ranges of motion, entirely different ground contacts. So yeah, the whole like stand in one place and do a bunch of jumps, it just doesn't, it's okay for improving overall power, but it's not going to do very much to carry over to the approach jump. Crazy. Jeez. I like how you could just mess up in the air, but you got so much time up there that you can still finish with something nice. Lefty. Arm swing. Bring that back. All right, so look at the arm swing, and we've talked about this so much. I don't want to just keep talking about the same things, but hands are above head level. So typically we recommend at least pinky even with the earlobe at the top of the backswing, and that's not like this with bent arms. That's more of that, straight elbow and still be able to get my pinky back to around ear level. For some people, you're going to be able to even get it higher, and that's more kinetic energy, more range of motion, swinging down hard and fast. That's only going to be more energy in the jump. Now, a lot of you guys will go out and you'll be like, well, I want to be like Jordan, so I'm also going to do an arm swing like that. You might lack the shoulder range of motion, so as you go back, it's actually going to pull you forward. Your torso will go forward, and you'll have a more hip-dominant jump and less knee-dominant jump. And on the approach, you'll kill all your momentum. So it might actually end up messing you up. And then the other thing is this is timed brilliantly. So yes, he has a high arm swing, but it's timed down to the millisecond. Down to the millisecond. Now, if you go change your arm swing, Johnny just jumps from here every time. And then Johnny goes, I want to be like Jordan. So he gets it all the way up here. Your timing might be off. So you threw off your entire the entire kinematic sequence is all thrown off because you tried to increase that arm swing. So if you're going to change your arm swing, it's going to take time. Be patient, my people. Be patient. And don't go do this like, oh, I got a tournament this weekend, so I'm just going to go jump like Jordan Kilgannon. No. It's going to take months for you to really rep this, get it down, and sync up everything. You got all these joints. You got literally thousands, if not millions of things going on. They all have to happen at the right time, and you make one little tweak and something now is, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. We don't want to do that. So, yeah, be patient. This dude's got bounce. Let's actually look at his landing here. Props for the dunk style too. He just made, it's not just bounce. Like there's actually a lot of people with bounce. There's a lot of people in that 45 to 50 inch vertical range. Shouldn't say a lot, but I've seen my fair share of 45 to 50s. But to have that with the coordination, with the fluidity, most importantly with the consistent work ethic, because sometimes it's like, hey, you got it, but like, why aren't you doing anything with it? Jordan is like consistently year after year. It's like Drake. Like year after year, you're just like, you keep winning, and that's not talent. Like there's talent there, but that's consistent work ethic. Like not everybody with this balance and coordination is gonna actually keep going and challenging themselves. Good landing. You know, part of good landings is being able to land in awkward positions and survive. I'm totally against teaching like, oh yeah, you got to land in this perfect position, because then you get in a game and it's entirely different. Even in a dunk contest, if you're that high and a rim is pushing you back, you got to learn how to land one leg, 1-2. You got to learn how to fall. Take notes on some parkour athletes and learn how to bail out. Standing vert. He goes with a pretty narrow stance on the standing vert. That's pretty interesting. You see the spinal flexion. He's going to get a little bit of spinal flexion, spinal extension, and you can squeeze out a little bit of power there. A lot of people don't use their spine for anything. Their spine is just along for the ride. Jordan's actually going to get a little motion out of the spine and get a little bit of added power. He's a deep knee bend. Like, he obviously wouldn't be that deep of a knee bend in a game. He wouldn't be that deep of a knee bend in any dunk contest with an approach. But from a standstill, you could definitely get that low if you have the mobility. That shows he's got really good ankle mobility to be able to get down there. Takes a lot of pure power to get out of that position. Let me put it behind my head and let me dunk it. It's nice. What else you got for us, Jordan? Another one? Ooh. So hard. Ooh. Oh, he didn't like it. I liked it. He didn't. Ooh. With the left. Jeez. Going to the 1 foot. It's actually interesting to look at his 1 foot. I don't think I've ever seen him jump off 1 foot. And most people are like that. Like most dunk contest guys, like you're either 2 or you're 1. It's cool to see that he has the ability to go off 1. But like, I don't know. Some people would, for basketball players, you need to balance it equally. Have to, because 1 foot's quicker. So, man, I'm getting in the lane and I just got to pop off 1 real quick. Or I'm on a fast break. Somebody's behind me. I don't have time to plant on 2. I got to pop off 1. But like if I'm trying to catch a body, or if I'm in, traffic, there's people around me, 2 foot's a little bit more balanced. You're a little stronger off 2 feet. So if you're a basketball player, you got to have both. But if it's like dunk contests, I say, man, if you're trying to become a professional dunker, like rep 1 and get those reps. It's like a guy who can kind of shoot with right and left. I would say, hey, choose 1, because I don't want you to have to get 50% of the reps on the right and then 50% on the left. Then in an hour, you only get 250 shots, whereas the other guy who just shot with his right hand got 500 shots. So it's one of those things where it's like you should probably master 1. And he's definitely a master off the 2 foot plant. But I am just interested to see how his 1 foot looks. He gets some good height. He gets some really good height with the 1 foot. It's pretty impressive. Kind of a tough angle to break down the mechanics from straight behind.
No, you're getting it behind the line.
Dang. Good 90-degree angle. Got that forward shin angle. So he's trying to jump from distance. So when we're trying to get distance, again, if I'm trying to get there, I got to produce force in the ground this way. That left leg shows you the direction of force that he's putting into the floor. And then he's still got that steep block leg. When you're jumping for distance, the block leg will be less steep, though.
Book a car instantly with Avail. Just grab the keys and hit the...
Beautiful. All right, guys, there you have it. There's a breakdown of Jordan Kilgannon's dunks. Dude is a monster. I'd recommend going and following him. A big part of if you're trying to improve your jump mechanics, a big thing is just watching the successful people. Same thing with shooting. If you want to improve your shooting mechanics, you might want to watch Steph and Clay, and you want to appreciate that their bodies are different and they have different genetics. Like, you want to appreciate that you might not have the same physical structure as Steph and the same early childhood experiences as Steph. And so your movements are going to be slightly different than Steph's movements, but there are certain things that we can still learn from him. And like with dunkers, I like to look at like not the outlier qualities. I want to look at, like, if I look at 10 pro dunkers, what do 9 out of 10 of them do? That's probably a trait that we want, right? If 9 out of 10 high jumpers do that, that's probably a trait that we want to look into. And then for me, I look into the research. Is this trainable? Can we change this? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is yes. But that's kind of how you figure out what actually matters. You don't always want to focus on that outlier. Focus on what do the majority do. Until next time, I'm out.